There are several big reasons I prefer PC gaming over consoles, and I'm going to lay them out here. First, let me say that I do not look down on console gamers. I mean, I do, but only in the joking sense. Play games however you want. I understand that many gamers just want to have a console that works so they can buy their game and play it after a long day of work, and that's cool. A lot of gamers can't afford to keep up with new graphics cards and processors and motherboards being compatible with RAM and all that, so I get it. But let's talk about the aspects of PC gaming that have led me to prefer PC pretty much exclusively over console, and I'm going to show you using what I think are two great examples in my experience: Resident Evil 2 Remake and Mortal Kombat 9. Let's start with Resident Evil 2, and let's get some obvious things out of the way. Mouse and keyboard are objectively superior tools for gaming when it comes to shooters like this, Call of Duty, Doom, whatever, and strategy games like StarCraft, League of Legends, etc. For Resident Evil 2, mouse and keyboard allows for better accuracy, quicker movement, and easy weapon switching. Accuracy comes from the fact that you're using your wrist across a large space and is much more versatile than using your thumb on a tiny plastic stick. The mouse allows for quick precision aiming, as well as large corrections in your aim on a target that isn't in your centered view. Gaming mice actually have buttons on them that allow you to change the sensitivity mid-aim if you need to adjust according to an enemy's placement or behavior. Now let's try to aim at this zombie with a controller. If our sensitivity is high, a small movement sends us flying too far to the side. If it's too low, it becomes a chore to get an accurate shot quick enough on a moving target. With the right settings, you can adapt, but you're still going to find yourself swaying left to right trying to line up the reticle for a good shot. And once you have a setting that you're comfortable with, probably somewhere in the middle, we can end up with our second issue, movement. If you're playing on console at a medium or low sensitivity to assist with your aiming, you've now handicapped your movement. If you're being attacked from the side, you've got to slowly turn like a tank. Even worse if you want to swing the camera 180 degrees to see if something is behind you. On PC, checking your flanks or your rear is just a quick flick of the mouse. Just like if you were there and you would be able to turn your neck quickly. It provides a more fluid experience. Finally, there's weapon switching. On consoles, for many shooters with more than 2 weapons, you have to open a weapon wheel or inventory screen to change weapons. And while it's not horrible, if you're used to it, you've probably never thought twice about it, PC games allow for custom key binding to the entire keyboard and buttons on your mouse. In Resident Evil 2, I have primary and secondary weapons set to side buttons 1 and 2, that's my shotgun and my pistol, and then I have Magnum and Flamethrower set to Z and C right under my movement keys, so I can access any of these weapons at any moment. It's just really convenient. And while on console the weapons are bound to the directional buttons, it's a bit more uncomfortable having to take your thumb off the movement stick just to change weapons. That's not so bad in Resident Evil, but then games like Doom absolutely require you to use weapon wheel because there's so many weapons. It's a lot better on PC when you can just bind them to whatever button you want. Put this all together and PC allows me to focus my aim quickly, move around like I actually would if I were in the events of the game, and swap weapons on the fly at any moment. But hey, a lot of people already know this stuff, and maybe they don't care so much, and that's fine. Once you're used to it, it's hard to go back, but if you're used to a controller, you don't care too much about this stuff. So let's look at some other huge benefits. If you've only played Resident Evil 2 on console, this is how the game looks to you. And maybe you're thinking, what's wrong with it? Well, as a fan of the 1998 original, one thing that really bugged me was how washed out the game looks. The color saturation is off and the game just looks kinda ugly. The blacks aren't very deep and the colors aren't very vibrant. Compare it to the original and you see the colors were much livelier. To get this look of the remake, you have to go into the saturation and drop it by 50%.
However, for some reason, many parts of the game kind of look washed out to me. It's like got a gray tone on everything. I know we technically control these settings at the beginning of the game, but I feel like the normal settings, the one you're most likely to set to, are still washed out. Like the contrast is not quite right, no matter what I did, and I'm not sure why. I think maybe they chose more grays or some more fog rather than some blacks in the hallways.
So imagine how delighted I was to discover a program called Reshade that can be used to modify the look of your games. And with the right preset and a little tweaking, Resident Evil 2 Remake goes from this to this. Just look at the difference. Look how much more pleasing to the eye the game looks. Every area of the game looks so much better, and real and distinct. If this doesn't convince you of the benefits of PC gaming, I don't know what will. Now let's look at graphics options. We all know that PCs have better graphics than consoles, but it's not all about better or worse. It's about customization. You can set how much of your graphics memory you want to use. You can disable motion blur. And there's this effect called subspace reflections, which gives the game these amazing effects in reflecting water. You can disable it if you want, and you might want to because sometimes this effect can cause weird issues to happen in the walls. The mod scene is also excellent. So many custom creations like new outfits, being able to play the game as Ada, Mr. X in a Speedo, or hearing X gonna give it to you every time he appears. Graphical customization is what has me excited to try Horizon Zero Dawn again. I tried to play it when it came out on PlayStation, but I found the aiming to be way too frustrating with a controller, and the field of view was also too restrictive for my taste. What's field of view? It's how far to the side or up and down the camera allows you to see. A small field of view makes it hard to see what's next to you, and can make the game feel slow because there's less of an image moving across the screen as you move. A wider field of view gives you a better idea of your surroundings and makes the game feel faster. Horizon's field of view is kinda narrow because the PlayStation needs to not draw the world that's out of view to save graphics memory. If you could see more, the system would struggle. This was also an issue in the new God of War. The field of view was quite restrictive and led to some frustrating combat moments. Check out my God of War video for more on that. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Mortal Kombat 9. I was really into Mortal Kombat 9 in the day, traveling across the country to compete in tournaments and developing strategies for my favorite characters like Quan Chi and Kenshi. And a few years ago, my PlayStation 3 died. I didn't play it anymore at that point, but it was still disappointing that I couldn't play it anymore if I wanted to. And then I got Mortal Kombat 9 on Steam, $10, and now I'm playing a game on a modern PC and it just runs like a dream. I'm playing Mortal Kombat 9, a PlayStation 3 game, at 4K resolution at a perfectly stable frame rate, and it just looks so gorgeous. And look at these loading times. Wow, that is insane. Older games just run so well now. I can get 300 frames a second in Dead Space 2. And speaking of older games, that's really my point. On consoles, you either have to have a functioning old console or they'll make you pay for the game again to download it on the virtual store. And a lot of games just disappear for people, and using an emulator on a PC is the only way that a lot of people can play these games again. And when you buy a game on PC, you have it forever. I can go back and play Quake 1 from 1996 anytime I want. And not only that, there are community mods to fix the game with HD assets so the game is more playable for modern standards. I can play the original Doom anytime I want, and I have access to thousands of user-created maps and mods created over the last 25 years. And I'm always gonna have Mortal Kombat 9 with me to play if some friends want to have a fun night of memories. So there you have it. That's my case for PC gaming. There's things I left out. There's so many more things to talk about, but these are the things that I wanted to get out there, just in case some people didn't know about it. Well, what do you think about it? Has your perspective on PC gaming changed? Let me know in the comments, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time I want to talk about something Doom Eternal in a few days.